Just want to do a quick video about being insulted at Grant Medical Facility on July 12th and 13th. Basically, it was an overnight deal, so I'd have to say late night, July 12th, and throughout the morning of July 13th. I was intoxicated and they took me to detox, I guess, basically detoxification. I wasn't really out with friends. I was just out and about and met some people, got overly intoxicated, and went to sleep on the sidewalk. Just went to sleep where we was drinking. They're homeless. I wasn't. Either way. At the hospital, they wanted to discriminate and insult my genitals, and that is being said that they didn't want to touch it. I remember it, I recall it, for putting a catheter, installing a catheter, and I do believe that it was a white male doctor that was saying most of it, while there's also little nasty innuendos going on and around in the system. Systematical kind of emotional, psychological assault, organized structure throughout law enforcement, medical facility, and authoritative personnel. So I do want to make it very blunt. It's also associated with Liberty Place Apartments and the people that's been associated with such place. Just like I got back from Colorado Springs about 5 days ago, and they was in Colorado Springs too, basically like making it out as organized crime, but they're not just street gang members. These guys are authoritative capacity. Everywhere that I go, they try to insult, assault, anything that they can do to cause me any type of grief, pain, emotional pain, everything. So I do want to mention Grant Hospital here in Columbus, Ohio, and insults, verbal insults, social structure situation being applied, not just only here, but everywhere that I've been. So there is somebody making the contact, creating the social structure of that, the organizational, systematical, problematic, insultive, uncaring, hate crime type of situation, type of mentality. Now, the hate crime mentality, one of the first incidences that was labeled for me talking to federal agents, police, advocates, and everything else is way too far in the past to really do anything about unless they can pit it together. But it was in Florida where I was egged on the side of the road. The egg consists of physical assault. The physical assault was due to bias motives of disability, capacity, or my own persons, basically, and directly targeting me. That's just one, and would have been considered as a hate crime back then if I could have properly reported it. But they also know, people I've talked to, that there's law enforcement corruption and everything else involved, misconduction, and a bias against myself of who I am. Starting in Colorado Springs, they keep talking about a long black-haired white girl, white chick, white woman. They like calling her the long black-haired white girl. That's just one of the many perpetrators that has to be on top, because they've said this for many, 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 many years, including in New York City and a lot of other essences of hospitals, police interaction, law enforcement, even mental health, systematical stuff, whatnot. Long black-haired white girl also lives at Liberty Place Apartments. So there's a bunch of others involved, so you can't say how many long-haired black-white girls does anybody know? Plenty. It has to be a specific one, and it has to be narrowed down to just her, but it ain't just her. It's a social organized group against myself. Started way back in 2000. Has to do with me staying away from my supposed older brother, which invites me. either he invites me or my mother invited me back out to Colorado Springs. So, what's the invitation if you have so much hate against a family member to invite them so they can entice, entrap, and do whatever else they wanted, just like I made videos prior? And that's basically what happened. Participating with somebody else in completely social life death threats, not just physical, but social life, completely destructive of life, period. You're mentally retarded and we know it. It's been partially proven that I am not. If I am incapacitated, it is due to their victimization. It's due to them victimizing. Their social organization biased against mental health. I have to accept that I have a mental health condition now. Worse than what they say I actually have. Misconduction in the diagnoses. And not being able to, what they're trying to say and utilize, that I don't have any proof of victimization, but the system started to accept that if I state it, that's victimization. It is proven I'm more than capacitated and more trusting, and my word should be trusted anyhow, to go ahead and exert that I'm a victim of bias acts and targeted crimes. But it's not always like, I spaced that one out. I've been ill and sick on top, and they're just making me sicker intentionally. We don't give a fuck. We don't care. We'll do what we want to. We'll stalk, interstate stalk. You won't be able to do nothing about it. We'll entrap you into criminal life. We'll entrap you like human trafficking techniques so you feel that you don't have a way out. But the word that I was looking for is space that out. Anyways, they're just doing so much damage. I only have the identity of those who attacked me, saying the same situation. The long-haired, black-haired white girl told us to do this to me. And there's others associated, but she's the domination, one of the dominant points. I've seen her before. I've seen her in Colorado. I've seen her in Ohio. I've seen her in New York. She's giving commands and instructions like a militant soldier running an organized criminal or a militarized type of situation against myself. So with that being said, I just wanted to put out the insults from Grant, the genital insults, which is a massive situation, gets into sexual and emotional harassment and abuse, but doing whatever they can with the capacity of the authority that they have, because they have to be part of law enforcement for law enforcement to be also involved with insultive, harassive, if not misconducted acts. Even in New York City, there's an incident that happened back in 2006, and it was represented all the way into 2015 when I was out there. An officer, and if found out who he was, still could be criminally charged. That seems to be an older white male with gray hair. I do believe is their father, with having the abilities of becoming a police officer anywhere that they can. All they have to do is have a mayor sign them in, basically, and allow them to do their work anywhere that they want to. So him being the officer that night drove by while I was being assaulted harshly after asking a couple of questions just from his car, and New York City detectives got a hold of information on that. And even in 2015, if they can prove and catch, they'll definitely take away his ability of being an authoritative person, much less seeking out prison time for the associations of allowing me to be assaulted, sexually assaulted, physically assaulted, and everything else. That's how sick these individuals are. Really sick. I'm their main targeted ideal. I'm their main case. It's not that they're just going after anybody, even though that they do, anybody that has a disability or, whatever it be that they're trying to, somebody might be thinking that they're targeting because of a specific characteristic trait, origins, whatnot. No, I'm the main targeted situation of their situation. Sexual insults about my genitals. Oh, they don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch that thing. Stuff like that being said as he was trying to install a catheter. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video and upload it. Peace.